Good afternoon. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody's been having a great day. It's a little cloudy here, but I came across this story, and the first thing I thought of was, do you think this was for a green card? Did she get a green card? Because she says girlfriend, this guy says wife, which I don't know, it's kind of weird. But I came across this story, and it was a woman that came from England to meet a guy that was on death row in Indiana. So she told her story on Soft White Underbelly, and I have to speed her up because it takes a long time for her to talk. Um, but there's a lot that transpired, and it's kind of hard to understand, like some of the things that she's really saying. And then I went and I looked at the man that was on death row, and he was talking about how it was his wife and this, that, and the third. And then I looked in the comments, and some people were saying that he actually had X with her in like when she came to visit or whatever. So we're going to get going here. I'm first going to play my intro.
I wanna be your Supergirl. I wanna be your Supergirl. What you want, what you need. Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry about that. Hubby just called and asked what I wanted to cook for dinner, or what if he needed to stop by the store, something like that. So I need to tell him I need some milk. I'm going to be making my own bread, so I need some milk. No, I don't need milk. I need, what is it called? Evaporated milk. Okay. Sorry, wife duties. Okay. So anyways, I found this story very interesting. We're going to have to speed it up a little bit once it gets started because she talks very, 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 very slow. I'm not quite sure why, but she talks very slow. So let's get started here. Summary. While on routine patrol, Beech Grove police officer Matthew Hickey noticed a white van matching the description of a van stolen earlier in the evening. Hickey gave chase and was joined by Officer William Toney and Sergeant Robert McCurry, each driving separate police cars. The chase ended when Ritchie wrecked the van, then ran. Toney chased Ritchie through several yards and was shot 5 times with a 9mm Glock handgun. One of the bullets missed Tony's bulletproof vest by an inch, cut through an artery, punctured his lungs, lodged in his vertebrae. At sentencing, Tony's wife was reading her victim impact statement. Hold up. I was reading as fast as I can. Impact statement when Ritchie repeatedly interrupted her, laughed, and called her a bitch when she declared him a coward. Okay, so I may have to speed it up. So we'll see here.
You got involved with a man who, tell me about the man that you were involved with for how many years?
I was involved with a man in the Indiana State Prison. He was on death row.
How many years were you guys?
About 3 to 4 years.
How did you meet him?
Actually, I didn't meet him. I saw him on a documentary on YouTube, and I decided to write him a letter. And he responded, and one thing led to another, and I went to visit him, and we just fell in love.
So you flew from Sweden to Indiana.
Exactly.
How many times did you go to see him?
Over 10 times. So we had every time I went to see him, we had a week scheduled, so we could meet the whole week, visits the whole week for the whole day.
Oh, you'd be able to see him for the entire day?
Yeah.
Okay, so this beautiful woman here finds this guy on death row and decides that she wants to fly all the way from England to the United States to meet this guy on death row.
4 o'clock.
Even though he's on death row?
Yeah, because I was a long distance traveler.
Oh, I see. And what was he on death row for?
He's on death row for killing a cop officer.
A police officer?
Police officer. He was running from the cop, and he figured if he would shoot some bullets back at him, he would stop chasing him. But unfortunately, the bullets hit the cop, and he passed away. So, yeah.
So he's in there for life?
Yeah.
What was it? How old were you when you met him?
I was 23, I think. 24, maybe.
What attracted you to his name is Benjamin?
Benjamin.
So
What
hang
attracted
on.
you to
So
him?
like she's 22, 23. Now, I don't know how she had so much money to be able to fly from England all the way to, or was it Sweden? I can't remember. All the way to the United States, then stay a week. And then she got to spend one whole day with him. And she did this 10 different times. That's a lot of money. A lot of money.
I can't put it in words. Like, it was just a feeling he gave me when I saw him the first time, and when I looked into his eyes, I just felt that I wanted to be with him forever. And I don't know what. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Even though he's behind bars, you still wanted a relationship with him?
Yeah, my thinking was I couldn't imagine a life without him. So it was either be with him or die with him. So yeah.
You fell in love hard. What were the qualities in Benjamin that you liked?
I like how kind he is, and some things. He has some things that I can relate to. He's similar to me in a way.
That in itself is kind of scary when she said he's similar to me in a way, because this man had no remorse for taking another person's life and then even called the police officer's wife a bitch in the courtroom. I don't know. I mean, this is a beautiful young girl. Um, she's going to talk a little bit about her past, but like, I don't understand. Um, I mean, I really don't understand people that are fascinated with murderers and people on death row and all that weird stuff. I don't understand that, but I really, really don't understand coming from a whole different country over here, knowing that this man is on death row. And there's only 10 people on death row in Indiana State Prison. And her falling in love with him and all the things that she's going to say that happen next. I don't know. It seems like to me that, like, I feel like it was maybe, I started thinking maybe like for a green card. So like if she married him, whether it be in prison or not, she wouldn't really have to deal with him because he's in the prison, but yet she would be marrying an American citizen. However, he broke it off with her, is how she's going to say it. And you'll find out why, which even as crazy as he is, he knew that this was even crazier type of thing. Oh, hang on. Okay. Now, play.
Um,
This is why I sped it up, because there's so much
Do you
pausing.
feel like he was misunderstood?
yes.
And do you think you maybe understood him better than most people?
Yeah.
What was your childhood like? You grew up in what city in Sweden?
Yeah. I was born in Bosnia
Oh, you were.
during the war there, and when I was 2 years old, my family moved to Sweden, and we moved a lot. Like, we moved a lot around Sweden, and
I'd like to thank BetterHelp for being a sponsor of today's video.
Hold on.
I think a lot of my viewers are going through things, just like we all are, whether you're a viewer or not of this channel. I think everybody goes through something.
yeah, my dad was not a great person. He, like, when we lived, I have 4 siblings, 3 older sisters and 1 younger brother. And my older sisters, they're like 15 something years older than me. They lived in Bosnia, and they experienced a lot of stuff with my dad. He was he was an alcoholic, and he was in prison a lot. And
So with this story right here, her talking about her dad, he was a mean person, he was an alcoholic, and he was in and out of prison a lot. He also abused her mother and beat on her mother and stuff. She'll begin to start saying. So was she attracted to this Ritchie guy because he was in prison? Because a lot of times people will like try to find someone that's like their father or someone that's like their mother. Or was this woman trying to find a better life, like she said, for her and her daughter, and she thought this was her way. I can't really differentiate whether she was really in love with this guy or if this was a plan to maybe have a green card. I don't know.
He used to beat up my mom, my sister, and he used to be gone for like a lot of days and just come back and just tear up the house. And my mom was working 2 jobs. She had a tough time, and having 3 kids, and then me on the way. It was tough for her. And the thing is that the morning when we were supposed to leave to Sweden, my dad was sleeping because the night before he was drinking, so he was sleeping the morning we were supposed to leave. And my sisters begged my mom to not wake him up, to just leave him there. But my mom decided to wake him up and take him with us. So he didn't change. Like, we got to Sweden, he was the same. But the thing is that he was always good to me for some reason. I don't know why. He has never hit me. Like I said, I have a younger brother. He got beaten too, but my dad was always good to me. I don't know.
How would you describe your childhood in general?
It was I was a quiet child, and I never asked for anything. You could just leave me, and I would just sit there and play by myself. But it was a lot of chaos. Every Christmas and New Year, my dad would get drunk and smash the Christmas tree and the whole house, and beat my mom up and call her names and things like that. And yeah.
So a lot of violence in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel understood as a young girl?
No, not at all. Not by anyone.
Did you have friends?
We moved a lot, so I did have friends, and then I had to leave those friends and get new friends and leave those friends. So yeah, I have friends, but I always had to leave my friends.
Where's your family from originally?
So actually, it's very sad, and it does tend to go with you as you're an adult. If you're uprooted constantly and put into different schools, as soon as you get a friend or start getting established, you're moved again to another place, and you got to start school again. Because that happened in my life, and it was just like jump all the time. As soon as we would get stabilized or start having friends, we were moving again. And it was all for stupid reasons. It wasn't even because of, it was just my mom and my stepdad, they would just get mad at each other, and my mom would move out. And then one time we moved all the way to Memphis with a doctor. And I remember, back when I was young, they had like stickers. Stickers was like the most important thing back then. We just loved stickers. And I remember being able to buy the biggest sticker pack that they had, because we had those papers that came home where you could buy books and stickers and stuff. We didn't even stay long enough for me to get my stickers. And that still today still hurt me because I wanted those stickers. But of course, I was thinking as a 10-year-old child, I wasn't thinking as, a grown adult or anything like that. I was thinking of it as a child, like children think.
From Bosnia.
Your parents are from there as well?
Yeah, my dad's parents are from Ukraine, and I think he's born in Bosnia. But he had a tough childhood too. They were like 11, I think 11 children in his um, household, and his parents treated the children like animals. They gave, like, the children were sitting under when they were supposed to eat. The children were sitting under the table, and the parents gave them like bones to eat. The parents ate the meat and gave their children the bones.
Okay, so like, and like that's tragedy in itself, that they, like my mom's parents, they had 10 kids, and yeah, it's a struggle and stuff, but like having your kids sit underneath the table and then you eat the meat in front of them and then you give them the bones. People don't realize that when you're children and you grow up, this stuff starts bothering you. This is tragedy, PTSD stuff that doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. So she's trying to say that that's why she thinks that her dad was such an alcoholic and abusive to her mom and mean and, in and out of prison and stuff like that. But I mean, people can go through rough things, as a child, and they can still come out on the other side without going to prison or getting involved in drugs or anything else. It's all about your willpower and what you want for your life. You don't have to be a slave to what happened to you as a child. You don't have to be that. You can rise above that and you can become something great and awesome in life. And that childhood, you can distance yourself away from it, even though you still have the PTSD from it. You can help guide others so that, to help them to be able to understand that, yes, it was tormenting and, you was beaten and tortured and not treated right and abused and sexually abused and things like that. But you can also tuck that away into a compartment in your brain and say, I want to be better than this. And I don't want to touch drugs. I don't want to do things so that I get myself in trouble, so that, my life doesn't turn out the way that I want it to. We all have choices. And that's the sad thing, is that a lot of people will say, well, this happened to me and this happened to me. But a lot of times it happens to all of us. And it's just the way that you're able to handle it as an adult going forward, and trying to abide by the law and trying to do what you can, to survive, but doing it by the law,
So I kind of understand why my dad is fucked up like he is. Yeah, a really tough childhood too.
And how old are you now?
I'm 30. I don't know. 32 or 31. I don't know.
Okay. And
that's sad in itself that she doesn't know how old she is. I don't know why she doesn't know how old she is. I don't know what it's like in Sweden, because every country is different. So in the United States, as soon as we're born, we have a social security card, we have a birth certificate, it says our date of birth, yada, yada. But she doesn't know whether she's 30 or 31 years old. So I don't know, even when she got her passport and stuff, it's kind of strange. She would have to know how old she is. She would have to know her birth date. She would have to provide evidence that she was born and stuff like that. So I don't know where this comes from. I don't know.
do you have children?
Yeah, I have a daughter.
The daughter is from a previous relationship?
Yeah. Her name is Iris,
Beautiful name.
and she's the reason I changed my life, because after everything with Benjamin, when we stopped talking, the reason why we stopped talking was because the whole time when we were talking, we had a plan to break him out. I was supposed to hijack a helicopter and, you know, break him out. That was our plan.
You were
And
going to get him.
Okay, so this is like, I mean, she really, I don't know if something's wrong because she really thought that this was a plan and that they could execute this plan. I don't know how she thought or what made her think that she could execute this plan and that, she could. I mean, I don't think she's ever drove a helicopter. So, number one, how's she going to, execute the plan, get a helicopter, then break him out of death row, which death row is so locked down and up on the top, where you can't even get to the prisoners type of thing. I just, I think that part of this was like a fantasy thing. Because of course, a lot of people who date people that are, life in prison or, on death row or whatever, they automatically start thinking, I want to break you out, things like that or whatever. And it's more of a fantasy thing than an actual reality type thing. But she actually thought that this was going to happen. And that's why Benjamin broke up with her, is what I'm gathering on this.
Break him out of prison?
yeah,
And who's going to fly the helicopter?
well, there were places around there that you could hire a ride and yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, we talked about this for a long time, and that was what I was imagining it to be. I was imagining it to happen like that. But
Was that a plan or just a fantasy?
well, for me, it was a plan. We before we got him a cell phone in the prison, but before that, we had like secret messages. We had like a system to write secret messages to each other in the letters. So that's how we were planning, and also on the visits. But yeah, it was a plan. It was.
See, this is what I think.
And
The whole time that I was watching this, I was thinking to myself, I wonder if this woman has gotten any like psychological help or has been able to reach out to anyone or anyone to be able to help her. Because, I mean, she really thought in her mind that this could definitely happen and this was a plan. And then she goes on to say as well that she thought she would die with him. Anybody that has these kind of thoughts or something like this, there's something mentally not right. Now, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist or anything like that. I'm just stating the facts that something mentally is not right. And I pray that whatever it is that, somebody reaches out, because she looks like she really needs the help. She's a beautiful young lady. She's still got her whole life ahead of her. She's got a daughter. This daughter is looking up to her. We're going to go into a few more things that happened after she met this Ritchie guy. Now, I said in the comments down below, it said that he had X with her. I did not find a video of that. I only found 1 or 2 videos of him talking about her and was saying that she was his wife, which she's stating that she is his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend at this point. But I just find it really sad that something mentally is going on, and I don't think anybody's actually seeing this for what it really is. Number one, most normal, sane people really don't want to go to a different country and meet a person that's on death row for one of the worst scenario things that you can do, which is murder. It doesn't matter who he murdered, he still murdered someone and took someone's life away from, a wife and children and things like that. And then was calling the wife a bitch in the courtroom. Yeah, I don't know. This is very strange.
Then in the end, he told me he didn't want to risk my life for him getting out. And that's when I went like crazy, because my whole plan for my life was to be with him. And when he told me that, I just started doing opiates. I got a taste of the opiates when I did a surgery. And I continued. And then I met a drug dealer that dealed heroin. And that was much cheaper than the pills I was taking. So I was with this guy just for the drugs.
You got addicted to heroin.
So after this did not go through, and Richie explained to her that, you can't break me out of prison. Benjamin was like, you can't break me out of prison. It's not going to happen. I'm on death row. It is what it is. Either we be together like this or we can't be together at all. Then she turned to heroin, she says, and she started dating the drug dealer and living with the drug dealer.
Yeah.
This was after you separated from Benjamin?
We were talking. We were still talking, but I wasn't honest with him because that was his biggest fear, that I would do that, and I didn't want to upset him, so I didn't tell him I was doing that.
Was your goal with Benjamin to have a family and live a...
No, I knew we could never have. Well, that's what I wanted, but I knew we could never.
So see, it's so weird that she says in one thing that it was a plan, it broke her heart, and that she turned to heroin. And then in the next sentence, she says, well, I knew it could never happen. I knew that we could never be together like that. I knew, but I still turned to heroin. Anyway, I'm confused sometimes what she says.
Never had a family, but my goal was just to get him out and have like a week with him, and then maybe get killed by the cops.
Wow. So her goal was to get him out, spend 1 week with him, and then get red-rummed by the cops. That tells me that she doesn't care about her life, because she wanted to be gone, or how most of the time when they break prisoners out or whatever, they end up, actually becoming deceased as well, unalived. And this is her goal, even though she has a little girl, that if I could just have 1 week with him, then they can kill me. When we get caught, they can kill me. I just don't understand it.
To be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Your love for him was that strong?
Yeah.
Are you still in love with him today?
I haven't. I don't know. I can't even, I can't even look him up to see what's going on, because it takes me back to the time and to all these feelings.
Did you at any time question your judgment here and think that this was not a relationship that was meant to work out?
I knew it wasn't meant to work out.
So then, she then contradicts herself again and says, I knew it wasn't meant to work out. That's why I thought of a green card. Like, was she trying to come over here? And then was she going to marry him and then get a green card? And she wouldn't have to necessarily be with him. And then she could be in the United States. Because it's just so weird. One minute she's in love with him, then that draws her to heroin. Then she gets with the heroin dealer. She's with him for years. She lies to Richie about it. Richie breaks up with her, says, I don't want this, so you're not going to be able to break me out. My worst fear was for you to go get on heroin, which, okay. And then she don't know if she loves him or not. She don't know if he's even alive or not. It's just so she's all over the place, and I just pray that somebody somewhere sees this pain that this girl is going through and helps her to control her mind and her thinking, and that she lives an amazing life after this. Because to me, it just seems like she's crying out for help. I mean, when she said she was prepared to die with him, that leads me to know that she's crying out for help because she has her own biological daughter that needs her.
But I loved him, and when I love someone, I mean, I just felt like if he was if he was gonna get executed and die, and I love him, I could die too. I wanted to die too, with him.
See, that right there scares me, and that's a
And the
very
feeling,
that's a very sad, very sad thing that something is going on with this young lady. And like I said, she's calling out for help because she wanted to be unalived with him if they were to get caught. Like, she willing to put everything, even her life, on the line because, like, at this point, she doesn't care. Is it the heroin that made her feel this way? Is it the heroin that made her think that this plan could be executed? I've never done heroin, so I don't know what heroin does to your mind or your thinking or what have you, or did she think she was going to get a green card? I don't know. I don't know.
when I thought about it, dying next to him, it was a good feeling.
A good feeling. See, that's
Because I was dying with someone that I love.
Have you ever had a love like that before?
No.
You'd say Benjamin was the love of your life then.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you guys separate? How did you end it? Because he's still alive?
That's what I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? Because he may have been executed?
That's what I'm afraid of.
and by the way,
That's why I can't look him up. That's why I can't. Because I promised I would be there.
For his execution?
Yeah. And so I don't know.
Did you ever question the decision to choose an almost impossible partner for a relationship? Certainly, there's a million eligible young men in Sweden that might make a better partner than a death row inmate in Indiana.
Yeah, I know. But when I fall in love, I can't imagine being with someone else. Like, I don't see anyone else but that person I'm in love with.
Yeah, that's common. but just the ability to be like, when you first noticed, like, all right, so this guy's in prison, this is going to be a lot of work. You saw that at some point, but you went forward anyway.
Yeah.
The heart wants what the heart wants, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the problem with me. I don't follow my brain, I follow my heart. And that's my biggest problem in life, I think, with everything.
Would you describe yourself as self-destructive?
Maybe when I was younger. Not now. Now I just want to have a normal, calm, stress-free life and raise my daughter and give her everything she deserves.
Okay, so I do know that, however, she is in America because he does his videos and stuff, in California. So she is in America doing this video. I'm just so confused because she never said nothing about wife or anything. And then when I looked him up, he called her his wife. And I don't know. I'm confused.
That's my goal.
Would that be boring?
Would that be boring?
Would that be boring for you?
Yeah, but it's not about me, no.
It's about her.
Yeah.
Looking back, are there things you would have done differently if you had another chance?
Yeah, I would. It's hard to say. It's hard to answer that question because at the same, I want to say yes because it would have been much easier for me if the whole thing with Benjamin didn't happen. But at the same time, I believe it was meant to happen, and I don't think I would have done anything differently. I don't think so.
But did you ever talk about marriage with Benjamin?
Yeah. We wanted to get married in prison. And me moving to closer to him.
That right there is what made me think, was this all for a green card? Because number one, she knew that she couldn't break him out of jail. But if she married him, she would become a United States American citizen, whether he is a prisoner or not. And then she could live her life and do whatever she wanted to do in America because she was married to him. And I think once she cheated on him and got on heroin, he broke it off to where now she couldn't marry him. I honestly think this was for a green card, to be honest with you, because none of it makes any sense.
And stuff like that.
How would you communicate? Through the cell phone?
Yeah. I spent all my money on. I mean, he didn't ask me for anything. It wasn't like that. But I spent all my money on traveling, and a cell phone is not cheap in prison because the guards have to be involved and they want to be paid,
So right then and there, she just ratted that he has a cell phone. The guards are involved. If they think that if people, there's so many people that watch Soft White Underbelly. If they think this is not going to get back to the prison, they're not going to investigate and figure out who the guard is, which there's only so many guards on death row watching the death row inmates. they got another thing coming. I think this right here is going to open an investigation into the guard, into where the phone came from, into getting the phone, and it's going to cause a lot of havoc because she just ratted them out, pretty much, honestly. And I think it's because she's mad because she didn't marry him.
So all my money went to the cell phone, visiting him, and but when he got the cell phone, and
But you got to think about this. If you're coming from Sweden to the United States, I haven't checked on the tickets, but I mean, for a round trip, that's got to be in the thousands. Then you got to stay at a hotel in Indiana for a week just to see him for one day. Then she's smuggling in a $1,200 cell phone that they have to pay thousands to get, because then you have to pay off the guard. How's she getting all this money? She doesn't ever really say what she does for a living. That's a lot of money that was blown for 10 trips and a cell phone. And whoever the guard is that's the one that snuck this cell phone in, he can kiss his job goodbye, because I'm telling you, somebody has reported this to Indiana State Prison, and whoever that guard is, he can kiss his ass goodbye. And I'm sure there's a lot of punishment that's going to go with that, not just losing your job, but actually smuggling contraband for a person on death row. Yeah, I'm sure it's a whole heap of shit that he's going to get into.
we got to talk 24/7. It was amazing.
It made you happy?
Very happy. It was really amazing.
Is that the happiest?
That's another thing that people don't understand. But when you get a cell phone and you put it in your name, somebody else's name, whatever, and the prison finds that cell phone, they also find out who that cell phone actually belongs to, who's paying for that cell phone. And I'm sure they go after them for contraband, for, getting it into the prison and everything else. I'm sure they're the ones that put their ass on the line, and they're the ones that actually get in trouble, besides the prisoner who gets the phone taken away. But I'm sure they may even serve jail time for that, because that is jail time, doing stuff like that. And then it leading back to being in your name. That's scary as hell.
So you've ever been in your life?
Yeah, yeah.
Is there any aspect of that relationship with Benjamin that, because it's almost impossible to commit because he's locked up, that it made it easier for you to move forward?
I'm sorry.
If Benjamin was not in prison and he lived across the street,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been very easy to fall into a relationship with him.
Mm-hmm.
No obstacles.
Yeah.
But because Benjamin had a million gigantic obstacles between you,
Yeah.
did it make it easier for you to fall in love with him because of all these obstacles?
Maybe. I don't know. But I think he's just so special. Like, I've never seen someone like him. Until this day, today, I haven't seen a man like him. His eyes were like
A killer's
they were so
eyes.
beautiful, and the way he talked to me and made me feel.
What qualities did Benjamin have that you liked about his personality?
I liked he was funny, and even though he was on death row, he was positive, and he made me feel beautiful and loved, and he made me feel like I was the only girl in the world.
Back to the shooting of the police officer. What was he involved in that the police were chasing him?
He was. They were hijacking. I can't explain this. What does hijacking mean?
Like if somebody was driving a car, you would put a gun to their head and you would steal the car from them or have them drive it for you.
Yeah, hijacking. I can't really remember.
So she honestly really doesn't even know. She came 10 different times. She watched a documentary on him, but she honestly really doesn't even know what he's in prison for, except he shot a police officer. And she didn't even know what hijacking meant. And she says, I really can't remember. I really don't know.
But there was some criminal activity that led to that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering.
I can't.
Hold that thought for just one second.
I forgot what it really was.
That's another thing that I was thinking of, Stacy. Human trafficking. Like, because how did she get from Sweden to Indiana that many times? She's not a millionaire. How did she get the money to buy the cell phone and also pay off the guard? Why did she get into heroin and was with the guy for 3 years and didn't tell Benjamin any of this? Like I said, it's almost like a green card. Like she was trying to find a way to get a green card and like acting like she was in love with this inmate. I'm so confused because I really don't understand. She's a beautiful young girl. She could do anything, that would be amazing, that doesn't go against the law. And I think she's crying out for, she needs mental help, or I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I can't pinpoint it. I haven't really never seen a case like this before. So I don't know. And I'm wondering, is it the human trafficking? Is that how she was able to come back and forth? Like, was she involved in something different to where she was able to come back and forth? Because my husband was telling me the other day that now, if you're not an American citizen, you still get a flight thing where you can go fly anywhere that you want to fly, anytime you want to fly. And my husband was like, that's human trafficking. So they'll fly from New York to Florida to be with a man and then fly from Florida back to New York. And that's on the taxpayer's dime. And they're doing it for sex. So I don't know, but somehow she's in the USA right now because she's doing this interview. And she has to be in the United States because he didn't go to Sweden, and she has to be in California. So from Indiana, she made her way all the way to California. So I'm confused. I really don't know.
But it was, but
But had he done things before to get in trouble with the law?
yeah.
So he had a history of things like this.
Yeah, and he said when he used to be when he was young, every time he would drive by a prison, he knew he would end up there.
Now that's sad as well. So in his mind, and I've said this many times, thoughts become things. So in his mind, his thoughts and his thinking was, I'm going to live there in that Indiana State Prison. That's where I'm going to live. And I say it all the time. Thoughts become things. And if you think about it long enough, you're going to attract it into your life, which when he was running from the police, had the gun on him, he didn't think twice about pulling that trigger and shooting the police officer as many times as he did. And he told her it was because he thought that they would go away. No, they're going to keep coming and they're going to keep shooting. Like it's going to be a shootout. It's not going to go away. They're not going to go away. Thanks, Ty. I appreciate you, hon. But they're not going to go away. And so if he legitimately thought to himself, every time he drove past that prison, hey, that's where I'm going to end up. I see myself there. Well, he attracted that into his life. Law of attraction. Thoughts become things. And he got exactly what he thought that he was going to have. And that's sad in itself. It would have been nice if he drove past the prison and thought, I want to be a prison guard, or I want to, mow their yard, or, like I want to do something to help prisoners. But instead, his thought was, I want to be a prisoner, but I want to do it. I want to do it where I'm on death row, where, I'm with 10 people and I'm down 24/7. Come on. I just don't understand the way people think sometimes, but it is true though. You can, and in fact, thoughts become things, which that is the law of attraction. The secret to life is the law of attraction. Whatever you think about, you bring into your life, whether it be good, whether it be bad. So if he was thinking all this time, yeah, I want to go live in that prison. That's where I'm going to end up. So he was living reckless on the outside the whole entire time, not caring, and knew that if he shot that police officer and he died, where he would be. And he did not care because he already assumed he was there. He already visualized himself there. That's sad.
When he was like a little boy, he knew that. That's what he said.
What was Benjamin's childhood like? Do you know?
He was living with his grandparents.
And he was young?
Because his mom was not a great mom, and his dad chose another family. So, yeah.
So he chose prison. He chose crime. He chose selling drugs. Whatever.
He had a hard childhood.
But we've all had.
Ivana, what would you say is your biggest fear now?
Hold on. This is the thing though. We've all had tragedies in our life as children, but it's up to us as we grow up to be adults as to the thoughts that we think in our minds as to what we actually become. He didn't have to take that road and sell drugs and hijack someone with a gun and steal the van and go on a high-speed chase and then shoot a police officer. He didn't have to do that. But he had already, as a young boy, visualized himself in that prison. That's just a really sad thing. Mentally, something was wrong with him. And like I say, all of us, I don't think there's very many people that can say, I had the best childhood of my life. There's some that can say that, but not a lot. I mean, we go through things when we're teenagers and stuff like that, being rebellious of our parents and things. And, or a neighbor does something to somebody or an uncle or an aunt, or, there's always usually something, because you can't be with your kid 24/7 on a lot of occasions or a lot of things. And sometimes, it's usually something, or they see a tragedy themselves or something. But then in turn, they have to change the way their life is going to be, their outcome. And if you look at her, she just looks just kind of like she don't care, kind of defeated, don't really understand. And we got to think about this. She has a young daughter that is supposed to be looking up to her. And what's she going to think about her mom going from Sweden to the United States, seeing a man in prison for shooting someone, taking their life, and then mom ended up on drugs because of that? Like, it's a whole thing that this is spiraling down bad for her daughter. She does look
To
lost, right?
my biggest fear would be
Yeah, he talked himself
um,
right into prison.
to see my daughter go the wrong path in life, or something happening to her, or I don't know. I guess
But yet she was willing to die
she's
for an
my
image.
everything, and
And just
And your opiate addiction, you've you're clean from that.
yeah, um, I get clean because of her, my daughter.
I'm
The
glad she
thing
got
was,
clean.
when I met this guy that sold heroin, uh, I was living with him. He was in love with me. I wasn't in love with him,
You were or were not?
or not.
You were not.
I was with him because of the drugs, and it continued for like 2 years, 3 years, maybe. And then, like, he used to buy a big amount from, the real guy, and sell it every month, and get some money and give him the rest. But he was also he had addiction to what do you call it? Gambling, and he screwed up everything because he was good at gambling, and he won a lot of money a lot of times, but he, he lost everything that he was supposed to give the person that gave him the drugs to sell. And then he just decided to quit.
Exactly, Ty. I thought
I'm ready to
the
quit.
same thing.
I just wasn't ready.
But she's not like,
So I begged him, like, please, just go, because I was getting sick. That was like the first time I experienced getting sick from heroin. He was just like, no, I'm quitting. And so I tried to get my own contacts, and I managed to do so. I managed to get in contact with a really good guy. They lived in another city in Sweden, and I bought from him and tried to sell a little bit at a time to be able to continue using.
wow.
And that worked for a while, until people wouldn't pay, and because I'm a girl, and it was just me,
No,
until I didn't have any money left.
no, it's kind of like this.
So
When you're in the business of drugs, you got to be a hard ass bitch. And she's too timid and stuff like that to be in any kind of. She probably just gave it to him, or probably was so high she didn't even know what was going on. Definitely, she's not a person that should be in the drug industry selling or anything else, because she's too much. It looks like of a pushover.
when I didn't have any money left, I didn't have any drugs. I had one option only, and that was to go to another old man that I met that also sells. and he lived also in this other city, and live with him, and be his I don't know what you would call it, girlfriend maybe.
Sex slave. Let's just say what it is. An old man that sells heroin that says you can come and be my girlfriend, you can come and be my slave, my sex slave, whatever, my pet, is pretty much how that was going to go down.
And I bought the tickets, train tickets, to leave because I was so sick. And my mom begged me to just stay home, please. Don't leave, please stay home. And I was exhausted. I was so exhausted. So I just decided to, okay, I'm gonna just lay down, and whatever happens, happens. I lay down on my mom's couch, and that's when I quit. I was sick for 2 months. The first month was the worst. I couldn't even walk.
No Suboxone or anything else? No methadone?
No,
Just
nothing.
cold turkey.
Yeah.
Wow. Ivana, what would you say, if anything, did you learn from the relationship with Benjamin?
I learned one decision can change the your whole life. Like the decision I made to write him changed my life to, all the things that came after, the drugs, and I don't think I would ever have started with drugs if I didn't meet him and fall so hard for him.
All right. Ivana, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
So if you're confused, I'm honestly just as confused as you are, because the way she talked about things, and then then she says because she got with Benjamin, even though he didn't want her to get on heroin, that was his fear, that she ran right to it. And she says that before that she'd gotten hurt, so she was on narcotics. So I mean, honestly, I don't know, because she ended up back in Sweden, and then she says now she's clean. She got clean at her mom's, but if you look at her, she doesn't look clean to me. Her eyes look like she's lost. She's got to be somewhere in California, because that's where Mark does his interviews. So she's got to be somewhere in California. Where's her daughter? Like, and how it, the way that people are allowed to come over anymore. She's probably just here. I don't know if she's here on a visa. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is that she says she's clean, but if California, that's where people are able to get the fentanyl and all the other kind of stuff like that. So she may be clean from heroin, but I don't think she's clean from drugs per se, because she couldn't even really carry a storyline, and she talked so slow that I had to speed it up to 1.25 just to try to get through it. And we're already at an hour, and I didn't even stop it that much, to talk in between of it. So I don't feel that she's clean. I feel that it's probably something else. And like Stacy said, human trafficking now, that may be what actually she is doing, and she's not saying it. Because usually that's what he talks to, is the classic, drug addicts, prostitution, things of that nature. But yet she's acting like she's clean. She's not. she's saying she's clean. She's not acting like she's clean. Yeah, you can see it in her face that something is so off. I don't know what it is. I can't pinpoint it unless it's got to be some kind of drug. So now she's in the United States, probably with another person doing, if not heroin, she's doing something different. Whatever it is, she's very slow. She's very slow to answer. She can't think properly, and now she became a product of trafficking, meaning turned her into a product, like Stacy said, has she now became a prostitute here in the United States. Like, she didn't say what she does now. It was almost the worst interview I've ever seen because he really couldn't get her to talk, Yes, severely depressed, distraught, drugs. Yeah. I mean, and she's in the United States right now. So now we're going to go meet Mr. Ritchie here, and which was the love of her life. We're going to go meet him. And he does talk about her, but I got really confused because he called her his wife. So if he married her, then she is a United States American citizen.
Yes.
So hang on. Okay, so now we're at the Indiana State Penitentiary, but where death row is. So as you can see, it's locked down, locked down, locked down. There's only certain amount of guards because there's only 10 people on death row. So when she said that the guard was involved or the guards were involved, yada, 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 this is going to get back to the Indiana prison, okay? He's going to be shaken down. They're going to figure out where the phone is. Then whoever put the phone in their name, they're going to be in trouble. And there's not that many people guard-wise that's on this death row thing for 10 different guys that's locked up 20. And so I have my glasses on right now, and I could see the pits in her face, I'm assuming from picking, from her picking her face like they do when they're on, narcotics or whatever. And there's like so much scarring on her face from her picking that they were deep and embedded, in her face. And I feel really bad for her for that. I feel bad for anybody that gets on any kind of drugs and destroys their life, That's kind of what I was thinking, because when I first saw this, I didn't have my glasses on, and all I could see was just this beautiful girl. And then she's still beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I did see the massive, on the sides of her face, and where she had sat there and picked so much that it has scarred her beautiful face. And I would say probably moved on to meth or something else at this point. She had a lot of makeup on to try to cover it. But those scars, they're there for life. And then as you get older, they just get worse. And that's just sad because she had a beautiful, beautiful face. I just feel. So tell me, am I crazy on this? Or is that how she's in the United States? Because he says she couldn't get enough and married me. Why didn't she say that in her interview? That she married him. He's got a wedding ring on, if you look at his fingers. That's why I'm so confused, Ty, because I'm like, okay, she says she's the girlfriend of a death row inmate, and I'm thinking that she married him, but yet she didn't say she married him, and he's saying he's married, and that's what I'm thinking, the green card. But then once she got over here, after getting through her heroin kick or whatever, then she got over here. Now she's on something else, or even that again. Who knows? But I think that's why she's able to be over here, is because she married him. And she's just not saying she married him, because this dude What does he have to lie about? Honestly, he's on death row. People are just in there with cameras to talk to him, on death row. And he's like, yeah, she couldn't get enough of me, so she married me. Well, why didn't she say that? Why didn't she say that, yeah, I married him? Did she not want it to look bad that she married him and then got with a heroin dealer? That's what I want. That's what I was thinking of doing, was pulling to see if indeed he is married, because he's straight up saying he is. And then in another video, somebody had written in the comments and said, that must be the girl that he says that he banged in the visitations rooms, which if you're married, you can. But not in the visitation room. They make other arrangements. You know what I'm saying? I haven't found that video yet. I'm going to look while we're on here. But what would this guy have to lie about? Honestly, like, why would he sit there and say, I have a wife that, and seriously say, she came, and saw me, fell in love with me, and we got married. Why didn't she say that? Yeah, conjugal visits. Exactly. So why didn't she say that? Why does it say girlfriend of death row inmate? That's why I was so confused. That's why I was like, whoa, hold up. This was for a green card, and then now she doesn't know whether he's alive or not. She don't look him up. She's scared to look him up. Is that because she's married to him and just out doing whatever, and she don't go visit him because maybe they got caught through their letters of trying to break him out? Like, none of her stuff made sense, and I think it's because she married him, and she didn't say that part. So let's listen to Ritchie. What does he have to lie about? What does he have to lose? Hell, he's on death row.
Get a chance to see her
every weekend.
Do you mind doing?
Okay. When do you get a chance to see her? Every weekend?
Yes.
So see, like, this guy is actually, yeah, that's capital murder, right? Yes, she doesn't want people to know or might get sent back, right? But at least he admitted, hey, I'm the type of guy you don't want out of prison. I'm the type of guy that belongs in prison. So her saying she wanted to break him out and she had this plan, and then she went to heroin because the plan didn't happen. No, I think he told her from the get-go, hey, I'm here for life, or until they, I might get off death row, I might not, but I'm here until then. Like, I'm never getting out of prison, ever. So you see how her story, why she couldn't talk, why she couldn't say stuff, is because I believe she's actually married to this man. Yeah, it's crazy of how many women fall in love with inmates, but it's crazier when they come from Sweden. And I believe that's a green card. I don't care what anybody says. That's what I see it as. And somehow along the way, I don't think he necessarily broke up with her. I think that after she married him, she got with that one guy, like I said, with the 2-3 years of heroin, and he probably doesn't see her now at all. Maybe he wants a divorce. But none of this makes sense. And then she snitched on a guard and snitched on him for the phone. If you think they ain't going to be looking that stuff up, the people are crazy, because they are. But this dude's telling the truth. He belongs there. I'm going to go and see if I can find some more on him, because I didn't get a chance to actually dig a lot on him. So I'm going to see if we can find some more on him and what he has to say, like if there's a follow-up or something like that. Let me see when that was done. Hang on. Let me see here. How long ago that was? 3 years ago. Okay. So see, it's saying that 6 years ago there was 10. I think there's 10 now. There's not really a lot on this guy. I don't know where that video is that they're really talking about. Maybe there's Indiana State. So there, when was this? 1 year ago. Okay, so 1 year ago. Let me see if we can. Okay, we are back. So I think it was the copyrighted music. They really, really get you on that on that music, like the background music. They really just hit you hard on that. I wish there was a way that I could record that and like take the music off or put another music. That's what I'm thinking about doing, because it seems like, it gets shut down all the time when you're trying to watch something, due to music. And I'm thinking about just recording it, put different music on it, and then being able to show it, because it really tends to, make it difficult to be doing reactions and stuff when it's just this minor little music in the background that you could barely hear. But that's what copyrights people's things, is the music. And if people actually knew that and they didn't want their stuff to be stolen and stuff like that, then they would also be doing the same thing, putting some music on there and copyrighting it. Even if it's just a tiny little bit in the background, it's enough to get it copywritten. But we're pretty much done. I would just say that she married him for a green card, went on her way, he went on his way. If I will put the link down below, because I don't think it will let me play anything, just even his testimony as to what, what happened or whatever. So I'll put the link in the description below so that if you're interested, you can go see. But it's, yeah, I got the copyright notice and it said it was the music, and it's just getting harder for reactors to react to stuff just because of a little tiny bit of music. Thank you, babe. So I think I'm getting ready to record. When I do stuff, I'm going to record and put my own music on top of it. And that way I can actually play it, because it's getting ridiculous. I mean, it really is getting ridiculous, to be honest with you, that you can't play anything, even if you're reacting to it. Even sometimes you can't even react to music. They will give you a copy strike if you react to music. So, but hubby just got home and he brought me some nice Sonic. I don't go out to eat very often. I usually cook, and so I'm going to eat my burger and eat my chili cheese fries and take my medicine to keep me from having heartburn. And I wish you all an amazing weekend. I drop new videos, whether it be reaction videos or whether it be cooking videos, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And may God bless you all. Just remember, your Heavenly Father gave His only begotten Son so that you can go to heaven. I've been there. I want to go back. I'm trying everything in my power to keep my life good so that I can go back. I'm not perfect. I'm human. And just know, though, that if everybody's against you, there's one person that's never against you, and that's your Heavenly Father. So when you feel like you're completely alone in this world, you're not ever alone. You always got one entity, your Heavenly Father, that loves you, cares about you, and will open doors and have people to be able to reach out to help you in times of trouble, times of sorrow, times of anything. And I've seen this happen over and over in my life, and I've seen it happen over and over in other people's lives. This is a lot of the time, because of this copyright music stuff, is why I do a lot of my videos, honestly, on Rumble, because they're not like on top of you because of copyright music. And I just want all of you to have an amazing weekend. If you feel down or you feel like nobody cares, whether you know it or not, I care. I pray for everyone all the time. And like I said, I do the best that I can to help people when I can help them, whether it be an ear to listen to what they have going on, or whether it be money to help them or whatever. But God always makes sure that I get it back somehow 10 times fold. And I just want you to know that people over time, like as I get older and stuff, I really push my life to be the best that I can and the best that I can to other people. Because I look back at the things where, someone would say something to me and I'd be smart and I'd say something back, or, tit for tat or whatever. And I look back and I see how much time it wasted in my life. And I don't have time to waste. So when I come here, it's to either bring you recipes, cooking, or reaction videos, or I may just be chatting about different things. But just know that you're never alone. That's why doors open, thoughts become things, whether they be good or whether they be bad. Karma is real. Heaven is real. God is real. The devil is real. And you got to differentiate between the two. And right now, inflation is a mofo, but I see things turning around. I see things being better. I see our country getting back to where it should be after November. I see good things coming. So to those that's hurting, to those that are having a hard time and struggling even at making $100,000 a year, just keep holding on, because this is not going to be forever. And honestly, nothing is forever. You're not ever stuck. If you're in an abusive relationship, you don't have to stay. If somebody's wanting you to do something to commit a crime, you don't have to do it. And always go with your gut instinct. Because I know when I went without my gut instinct has said, don't do this or don't be around this person, and I went against my gut instinct, it slapped me in the face every time. So I really listened to that gut instinct. Anyways, Sunday, I'm taking my little one, Sophie, to the zoo, and we're going to go see the monkeys and the elephants and the giraffes, and I'm going to have an amazing time with my little Soph and make some amazing memories. And that's another thing. You don't even have to leave your house to make amazing memories. There's all kinds of ways to make amazing memories. So I will see all of you later. Have a fantastic weekend. Tuesday, I'll be dropping a new video. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment. Don't worry about what these people say. Oh, you can't go to the... Listen, are you a grown-ass adult? Act like one. I'm out.